Hello YouTube, it's me Justin, February 18th, 2018. I wanted to touch on a topic that many people are talking about on mainstream media and social media. Should teachers be allowed to carry handguns onto school campuses to protect our children? Now me, along with many American people, agree absolutely. And one fear, not really a fear that I have, but with Donald Trump being vindicated from this Mueller investigation, this Russian collusion that the far left have been so obsessed with, and now that he's been vindicated and 13 Russians have been indicted by Mueller, well, where they're going to focus their energy towards this mass shooting and exploit it even worse than they have so far. Now, if you know anything about false flags and you believe this is a false flag event, well, a lot of people don't understand what a false flag is. Some people believe in them, some people don't, but it's basically a way for big government, deep state, to create a horrible tragedy so they can push their agenda. And their agenda from the far left is stricter gun laws that do not work, and to do away with the Second Amendment. And I think that they're going to go full force with this because of now they have nothing else to talk about, the Russian collusion. Yeah, they'll pick at that a bit. They'll try to find some kind of conspiracy, cover up Mueller was paid off by Trump or some crazy bullcrap. But when it comes to teachers having the right to carry and have a weapon in the school to protect the children, now the response time for after the first shot is shot in a mass shooting is 5 minutes for police to arrive on scene. Now, if you can cut that down to 60 seconds, that's a whole lot of lives saved. But anyways, I just wanted to show a few videos on states that are actually jumping on the bandwagon to pass bills and legislation to allow this to happen. So if this was a false flag event, it may have just backfired in the liberals' faces and the deep state, because the people that want to do away with gun rights are actually being shouted over, so to speak, with louder voices for people that want to arm our teachers so they can protect their children. This is 2018, it's a crazy world. Gun control will not work. Teachers need to be armed so they can protect our children. It's simple fact.
At the Florida school shooting, and Alabama lawmakers working on a bill to put guns into the hands of educators across the state. News 5's Katerina Lukatic spent today getting your reaction to this idea.
One day after a school shooting left 17 people dead in Parkland, Florida, an Alabama lawmaker filed a bill to arm educators. Representative Will Ainsworth believes if teachers there had been armed, things may have ended differently.
We've got to make sure that when these evil people get in our schools, that our kids have a fighting chance.
We see these no firearm signs on school campuses all across the state. If passed, the bill would allow teachers and administrators to carry a gun on school grounds.
In light of the Florida school shooting, people in our area are debating whether teachers should be trained and armed with weapons to fight back. Janelle Bluda joins us now with what's legal and what's not, and what people on both sides of this issue are saying. Janelle.
Right, so what we found out is that in the state of Texas, it can be legal for a teacher to carry a licensed handgun on campus. But that has to be approved by the school district. What doesn't have to be approved, however, is that a licensed carrier can keep a weapon locked in their vehicle on school property as long as it's out of sight. The gunshots, the screams, the silence, sounds that should never echo in a classroom. 17 innocent lives were taken yesterday, including a high school football coach who police say acted as a human shield to protect students from gunfire.
Our teachers have had to become the first line of defense out of necessity because nobody else is standing up for those kids when these things happen.
The shooting igniting yet again the debate over gun control on school campuses. And many of you sounding off on social media saying those teachers inside the classroom should be trained and armed. And that is the solution. But some say not so fast.
I think that more guns on campus are adding to the problem.
Zeph Capo, president of the Houston Federation of Teachers, says putting weapons in the hands of teachers just makes the guns more accessible to the students. He believes the answer lies in tighter restrictions and better training.
Training to ensure that doors are locked, training to make sure that kids are moved to the safest areas of the room, knowing how to use what's in the room to create barriers for yourself. All of those things probably do need to have more attention.
While this warning sign already sits outside a school district in Dallas, it's unclear in Houston if any teachers are already armed. And some districts say that's on purpose.
Now that right there by that last clip was a far left ideology to go ahead and lock kids into classrooms, and that's a way to protect children. If you didn't know, a lot of the children that were shot in the Florida shooting actually were told to come back to class and were locked into classrooms, which the shooter shot through doors and injured and killed many. So now if there would have been a teacher with a gun, could have ran right out in the hallway, like I said, and popped off a couple rounds towards that coward, and he would have dropped his guns and ran, because like I said before, as soon as the cops had pulled up, he knew, and then he walked out with the rest of the classmates. He was terrified of getting shot. He was not going to go down in a blaze of glory. So teaching kids and doing more drills to lock themselves into classrooms makes them sitting ducks, because you can shoot through doors, you can break into classrooms. And another thing they're not teaching these kids is a lot, I question, how come a lot of them did not take desks and chairs and bust out windows? Like I've told my daughter, in case of a situation like that, no matter what, I don't care if you're on the second floor, if you hear the shooter in the hallway, that means he's inside the building. Bust out windows. Do not sit and hide under tables. Jump, run, do not look back. Run for your life. You can bust out windows, you might get cut, you might get cut by glass, you might even twist an ankle, break an ankle, but you're not going to get shot.
This community, we've always been raised around guns and how to respect guns. I trust any teacher in the school with a gun.
I know the students feel safer knowing that the teachers have guns here in case somebody come off the highway and acted crazy or something.
If you're coming into our school, to not know where you might get shot from.
We'd rather have guns protect us than pencils and rulers and scissors.
So basically, arming teachers with guns is a huge deterrent to people that want to come in and do harm, mass shootings. Those signs, those gun-free signs, are just an advertising piece stating that this is a soft target, that you will not be met with any resistance. Come on in, shoot the place up. That's exactly what those signs are. Gun-free zones are nothing but soft targets. Fish in a barrel. So anyways, this is an extreme topic that the far left is going to run with, and it's our duty to fight against that and start passing bills, start voting on allowing teachers to be armed. They say, well, that just brings in more guns into the school. There's ways to keep guns locked away from students, but they're there in case of emergencies. Like I said, 5 minutes is the average response time for a police officer to show up. The carnage is already done. I prefer 60 seconds over 5 minutes any day for my children. and your children, innocent children, and staff members. So let's check out what some of these far left politicians believe their gun laws, the ones that are heavily guarded with security at all times.
Ban most pistols. That would ban most.
No, but pistols are different. You have to pull the trigger each time. An assault weapon, you basically hold it, goes. Blah, blah, blah.
No, those are fully automatic weapons.
Okay.
What?
Simple idea. Let's give up on the Constitution.
Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in.
It's here.
But that would ban most pistols. That would ban most.
No, but pistols are different. You have to pull the trigger each time. An assault weapon, you basically hold it, goes. Blah, blah, blah.
There's no reason, in my opinion, to have them. You want to have a hunting rifle? Great. You want to have a handgun?
Do you really think the Second Amendment is in the Constitution to guarantee hunting and target shooting? Do you really think that's what the
I think the Second Amendment is in the Constitution so that we can have muskets when the British people come over in 1800. I don't think it's in the Constitution to have assault weapons in the year 2000.
This next clip shows the sheer ignorance of the far left and these gun laws. That's what I talk about. Gun laws do not work. Stricter gun laws. Criminals do not abide by them. They get their guns off the streets. They steal them. They buy them illegally. Check out what this politician has to say about gun laws. Short clip.
That's the point. The criminals won't go to purchase the guns because there'll be a background check. We'll stop them from the original purchase.
It's pretty cut and dry what the far left want. They want to abolish the Second Amendment. They actually believe that stricter gun laws will prevent criminals from buying guns. Criminals do not buy guns legally. They buy them off the streets. They break into homes. They do home invasions. They steal. They rob. That's how they get their guns. Stricter gun laws just simply slow the process for law-abiding citizens to arm themselves. Teachers need to be armed. You feel safe if your kid's visiting a police department because you know that a police department is not a soft target. Now, gun-free zones are soft targets. So you feel comfortable sending your kids out to the wolves, basically with knowing that that's a target. Would you feel safer knowing that there are guns that are secured but are there if need be? Like I said, 5 minutes versus 60 seconds is a huge time frame. Just sit down in the quiet, put on a stopwatch, and sit there for 5 minutes. It's a long time. It may not seem like a long time, but if you sit there for 5 minutes, it's a long time when it comes to an active shooter. So, anyways, just want to do a video on that. Teachers need to be armed and vote. Write your local congressman. Do whatever you can. And like I said, I think if this was a false flag event and it was a way for the far left to create this agenda for stricter gun laws, I think it may have just backfired in their faces. Because a lot of people are waking up, and you can see a lot of states are taking action. So if you hear about your state taking action to allow teachers to arm themselves, I encourage you to go vote for it. So anyways, fear no man, never fear death, get right with God, fight the good fight, stay locked and loaded 100%. Later.